Greetings everybody, my name is Dante. I'm going to be channeling the Pleiadian Council in just a moment. I do private channeling sessions if you want to tune in and ask your personal questions. I do streams that often happen on Wednesdays, and I teach people how to channel and practice intuitive healing work. So check out dantestarshine.com for information on that. I hope you enjoy this channeling session, and to support the channel, the thumb, as in the like, is always supportive, as well as typing a little message below. Appreciate it, and much love and blessings to you today. Hello, and we say good day to you at this moment of your time. We are the Pleiadian Council, and we speak on behalf of a galactic alliance supporting your world in this process. Many of you call Ascension. It is a gift, it is an honor, it is a blessing to be able to co-create with you in this way. So we thank you for tuning into this transmission and bringing a grounding of this energy into your reality, as it is supportive for the growth of your world. Today we would like to discuss the idea of detoxing and the many ways that you detox in your life. It is not just something physical in terms of the things that you eat and drink. Detox is in many other areas of your life in which you take in or generate toxic energies. So we would like to discuss this. And we first of all begin by saying this relates to the greater topic of your ascension, because toxins prevent you from reaching higher vibrations. Not only that, but toxins store negative energy and emotion in your body. We have discussed this formula of acting on your highest passion to the best of your ability, with no insistence on a particular outcome. Implied in this formula is following your heart, letting the force of love within you, the calling that you feel in this spiritual center in your chest, call you forward, yes, to that which raises you into the greatest states of love and joy, and doing this without insisting on outcomes, as in not having attachment to the results, is what will allow you to spiritually evolve. When you as a planet spiritually evolve, the ascension takes place, and it opens up the multidimensional door for more exciting meetings to take place for you and your world. And now, let us say, because you vibrate in negative emotional frequencies so often, this creates an effect of those emotions crystallizing in your being and becoming toxins. And in the process of transformation during ascension, you release those emotions and you release those toxins. The toxins are the chemical constituents of these emotions. They are crystallized emotions that go deep into your cells. And many different parts of your being get these crystallized emotions, and it's possible to detoxify yourself rather easily in your world. So not only must you detox yourself, you must be rigorous in your process of ensuring that you don't detoxify along the way. So we may start with the most obvious, which is the toxins that come in through what you eat and what you drink. What you drink is important, as many of you drink water that contains different chemicals such as fluoride and trace pharmaceuticals and heavy metals. If you don't know where your water comes from, check it out. And if possible, get a water filter, a water distiller, or something of this nature. Ideally, you can go to a local spring where you can first test the water and make sure it doesn't have any toxins in it and drink this water. This would be the freshest, most energized water, because as the water flows, it brings prana into the cells of the water. And this allows you to take in a greater sort of clarity when you drink this water. Of course, there is the power of bringing intention into that which you drink and eat, but that is for another video, perhaps, to go into greater depth on that. We will say that, yes, as you prepare beverages and food, the energy that you're feeling as you create it goes into it. So it is also important to make sure you cook your own meals or eat things that are created in a loving way. As much as you possibly can, yes. Now, your foods have many toxins, so it's important to eat organic. It's important to eat a diet that is very high in fiber. Generally, plant-based diets are healthier. Foods that are raw have higher nutrient content and therefore higher energy, but foods that are raw are more difficult to digest. And this is why everybody has to listen to their own body as to what works for them. For many of you, cooked food will suit you up into a point in the shift at which you might prefer raw food, but very few can thrive ultimately in this diet. Those who do have to go through a rigorous level of change, and that can be exciting for them, so that can be a part of their ascension. If it's not exciting for you, don't allow your sense that you might be missing out on something to motivate you to attempt any sort of fad diet that you feel drawn to because it might give you a special energy. The most special energy you will feel when you listen to your body. Toxins not only come from what you take in, but toxins come in from what doesn't get digested. And that's again why we said eat a very high fiber diet with many prebiotic foods. You can look that up for greater details, as the prebiotic foods and, yes, probiotic fermented foods will help you very much in digesting that which you take in. Because if you don't digest the food properly, the food starts to rot inside of your intestines and create its own toxins. And this is one of the most toxifying sources of consumption in your world. It's overconsumption that leads to indigestion, that leads to toxification. It's not always what's in the food, it's that you've taken too much of it, or you've eaten it at the wrong times. And why do you do this? It's to suppress toxic emotions. And that's perhaps what we will get into next, is the emotional level detox. Yes, you need to detoxify yourself from emotions that get trapped and lodged in your body. This happens very often because you don't allow yourself to feel them, and instead you suppress them. Instead of allowing yourself to go through the emotion and achieve the release from the grip of your resistance to those emotions, you turn away from them and you use something external to distract yourself from them or bring about a happy feeling that numbs you to those emotions. You need to channel these emotions into some positive form of action. And The care for your body that you experience is one of the greatest ways to take power over the sways of your emotion. By getting into daily routines like exercise, yoga, qigong, jogging, swimming, and whatever suits you to bring you into your body will allow you to balance your body's hormonal system, will allow you to produce great levels of endorphins that drop your level of cortisol, and this will give rise to an increase in serotonin and dopamine and all of the things that allow your body to feel good and combat stress. For cortisol is the stress hormone, and this is a toxin to your being. When it accumulates, leads to all sorts of problems. It leads to the malfunctioning of your immune system. It leads to a lack of mental clarity. It leads you to be so distorted that you're not guided by what excites you, but by your fears and by your worries and your anxieties. And so you need to combat this toxin of stress by being fully present in your body and enjoying the ways that you move your body. Key into this process is also your breath. For when you experience stress, you come to experience a shortness of breath. And so doing breath practices to deepen your breath, to expand your lung capacity, to bring more awareness to breath, will all be ways that you channel the power of your breath and learn to regulate your body's rhythms with your breath. You take in life force, you take in energy with your breath. It is the most vital part of your life. And without proper breathing, you will generate toxins. And thus also, you must pay attention to the air that you breathe. Unfortunately, some of you live in cities that are rather polluted. If anything is possible, do it. If you can move from polluted areas, do so. If you can live closer to a park within the same city, that is better. If you can take more time away in the forest, that is well too. Good air quality will be very powerful in changing your life and changing your mind. Now, on the subject of emotional toxins as well, this is very much connected to when you don't process these emotions. We've spoken about releasing stress through moving your body and taking care of yourself. Though there's also other levels of emotion that need to be tended to with a deep level of awareness, presence, and feeling, of processing. You perhaps may speak with those who are skilled at understanding these emotions. You can journal to gain the self-reflection of understanding these emotions. You can allow these emotions to motivate your creative expression so that you can give them a place to release from your being. But you cannot transform these emotions without expressing them in some way. And this isn't to say that all of your emotions are toxic in their own, but your resistance to your emotions is toxic. Your emotions, again, are your guidance system. So perhaps you're feeling angry because you need that energy to use it as motivation to take firm and powerful action steps forward in your life. Or you might need it to set boundaries so that other people don't hurt you in your relationships. You might be feeling sadness, but perhaps you're feeling this not for a really negative purpose, but as a way of allowing yourself to deepen into connection and intimacy with yourself. So your resistance to these emotions is self-rejection, is denial of self. And it causes you to stagnate, and it leads to more stress and more toxins. So this must be dropped as well. And on this subject, those things that instill within you negative emotions, such as negative sorts of media, entertainment, the misinformation of many of your media sources, and the fear that it instills, the distracting, meaningless, and trite information, yes, that comes in so many of your entertainments and social medias. This is toxic to you. And you need to choose very wisely what information you consume. Does this enrich my life, or is it toxic? This is a very important question to ask. And on this note, we would say that the light of the screens themselves is toxic to you in a way past a certain hour. It is similar to the light of the sun on your system, and it will disrupt your circadian rhythm and cause you to think that you should be more awake than you need to be. Rather, it will cause your body to respond as if it's still daytime. Because yes, that screen has a blue light similar to that which is emitted by the sun. You can put a blue light filter on your phone or install one if it doesn't have one naturally tuned in. And this will reduce some of that toxic load. But beyond even that light, your mind, when it is working too fast, creates a sort of toxic environment of thoughts that move at frenzy pace. And it's important to give your mind time to rest regardless. Even if you're doing things that are enriching, you can cause yourself to be in a mentally toxic and burnt out place if you don't give yourself time to rest and put down those things that cause you to be working mentally as well. There's a way that you can overdo anything that's good for you. So we will mention as well, in a sense, taking a step backwards, that over-exercising leads to the creation of lactic acid. So be aware of this as well. All of the things that are good for you are good for you to an extent. And it is when you become attached to the outcome of your goals that you push yourself past your limits. Your body knows your limit. So when you feel as if that is enough working out, stop. When you feel as if that is enough working on a project or reading or studying something, stop. And if you live in alignment with yourself and you can tune into your body in a way that you feel when it's time to let go, you will have a natural high level of energy and you won't be burdened by any accumulation of toxins or any sense of deep fatigue. You will be energized and alert and free. And this will support you absolutely. And finally, we must mention your toxic sorts of relationships, as these are something that play out in your lives. And we want to say that you should remember it isn't just that there are toxic people out there. There are toxic ways of relating. And in order for it to be toxic to you, you have to be either behaving in toxic ways or enabling other people to treat you in toxic ways, which itself is toxic. So you must understand your self-responsibility, even if it's only at that level of enabling and allowing that to happen. You are still self-responsible. But these toxic sorts of relationships are ones that disconnect you or others from their innate connection to source and the innate value that comes with that. And these relationships are built with an uneven power dynamic, and oftentimes they are a way for the individuals within the relationship to use the other people to compensate for their own sense of lack of worth, or to compensate for their own sense of powerlessness, or to compensate for their inability to process their own emotions, therefore using the context of the relationship and the negative behaviors that are enjoyed together as a way of suppressing emotions. It's important to cut out these forms of relating and choose to connect with people who bring you to feel genuinely uplifted, while yes, simultaneously still being a mirror reflection for the shadow parts of yourself that you must look at. These sorts of friendships and co-creations will bring you to feel inspired. They will be based in source connection and in love, and you will grow with joy in them. And last but not least, toxic substances that are psychoactive are also something to consider. Things like alcohol, smoking of any kind, and the different psychoactive things that you as humans enjoy, and think you enjoy, rather, we could say. Actually, much of the time, these are ways that you are suppressing emotions. These are ways that you are distracting yourselves from what you need to process, and the effect plays out on your body. And you could say that some of these substances, for example, cannabis, is not that toxic when compared to others, and that it has some certain benefits for some certain people. But you have to look at this in the long term and not just the short term. You might feel better in the moment, but are you consistently moving towards your passion? Are you consistently being real and true about what you're feeling and what lives inside of your heart? Are you having high energy levels and the motivation to take care of your body and exercise and to show up in accountable ways in all your relations? Because for many of you, any reliance on any of these sorts of substances causes you to start to fall back, to start to lose momentum and positive progress in many areas of your life. And we would very much encourage you to allow yourself to feel, because any of the toxic things that you do have to do with an avoidance of feeling or a need for speed and convenience. Not only feel, but allow yourself to deeply feel, and feel what you're feeling for as long as it needs to be felt. Do whatever it is you do with deliberate focus, being present for all of the details, until you see through the process to the very end. Your world is built upon the false concept that things must happen fast, and as you rush towards the goal, you miss out on the process. This itself is a gateway for all of these toxic things to come in. So you need to be slow, you need to be deliberate, you need to be present, and you need to very clearly discern what is good and what is bringing in this toxic energy or literal toxins into one's life and body. As you release from these toxins, great things will happen. And we'll say that, yes, beyond staying clear of adding the toxins and choosing the healthy alternatives, there are ways to accelerate the process by working with someone skilled in helping you understand your emotions and your mental stories and your traumas, you can accelerate the process of emotional detox by taking certain plants and different protocols. You can accelerate the detox of accumulated things in your physical tissues and organs. And yes, you can go on retreats from media and information to let your mind rest. And we would say several times throughout the year, it is important for you to focus on your detoxification in all of these areas so that you can allow yourself to be clear and continue to move forward with momentum. If you neglect to take the time for this, sickness, be it physical, emotional, or burnout fatigue, will cause you to stop and take the time to do that. And you will do what you do better if you choose to deliberately take the time off rather than allowing fate to force you to take the time off. We thank you very much for allowing us to share this message with you and for tuning into it and integrating it in your life, as it will be of great support to your collective and to all that is for you to integrate this information and live it, and for all beings on your world to live in a more clear and clean state. Our unconditional love to all of you, yes, and stay healthy and bright. All right. Thanks for watching. Again, my website is dantestarshine.com. Tune in for personal channeling sessions, the channeling course. Oh, and the guidebook to living love on Earth, which is a deep, powerful transmission from the Pleiadian Council that outlines so much deep information for transforming our lives in so many areas. That's all for now, and stay tuned for more. Many blessings, much love.